Hello and welcome to our postmortem video for the game Elementary. In this video we'll explore the game, how it's played, how the game changed during the development cycle, and what we learned from the process. Elementary is a top-down 2D puzzle game in which the player must solve puzzles while avoiding various enemies and hazards using the elemental power-ups found in each level. These power-ups consist of earth, wind, fire, ice, and lightning. Each element provides the player an action they can perform, and most offer an immunity to a similar hazard. For example, the fire makes the player immune to flames that would normally kill them. After the player has picked up multiple power-ups, they can switch between the currently active element at any time with the arrow keys. The element switching mechanic went through a large number of iterations throughout our game's development. The original idea behind the mechanic was for each element to be usable only once, causing it to be subsequently removed from the player's HUD and inventory once they'd switched to another ability with the arrow keys. While we liked the challenges and meaningful choices this would provide the player, it also provided a myriad of other design issues that we would have to address, including figuring out how and when to respawn each power-up, which were decisions that would impact the second-to-second gameplay greatly, ensuring that the design and flow of the levels worked well with the new mechanic, and not to mention the innumerable HUD issues this would have caused since our heads-up display was not functioning 100% yet at a base level. We eventually decided against removing the player's previous elements and decided to focus more on making the player think about the puzzle as a whole, as opposed to whether or not it was safe to switch abilities.
Sequential levels introduce new mechanics and objects for the player to interact with as they move forward, introducing more and more as they move on. The player's elemental powers do not change, nor do the mechanics in them, meaning that the player's actions are how they interact with the new objectives they encounter, such as new types of element-related puzzles. Most levels, the player is surrounded by a fog of war that limits their visibility. We originally had specified portions of the level covered in darkness that lifted while the player was in that area. But this created problems in delaying the player's reaction time to immediate hazards and confusing them as to where to go next. This area-type fog of war was very unforgiving, and a more traditional approach with a ring of visibility, such as a light radius, that followed the player proved much more effective and gave them more time to react to immediate threats. The player's minimap was developed to give the player an idea of the level's layout without giving away anything beyond the level's walls. We decided on the final minimap layout because we wanted to give the player a small amount of help without spoiling the level's puzzle or surprises. It also helps the player to not feel lost despite spending almost the entire game in overwhelming darkness. The player's score starts off at 999 and decreases by 1 every second until the player has completed the level. If the player wishes to keep track of their scores, they can enter their name in the top left corner of the main menu before playing, then see how their scores match up with everyone else's in the high scores area.
Throughout most of the game's development, every level had the same exact colors and theme. The tutorial level through the second level have an aesthetic theme closest to our original aesthetics, being dark with stone walls and stone tiling on the floor. The third level through the fifth have a theme with different floors and walls, indicating a new section that the player character is moving through in their advancement through the game. Levels 6 through 8 have rougher stone walls and a metallic floor, indicating even further advancement, and that the location itself is changing as they go. Level 9, 10, and the final boss have unique themes to them, helping the player feel like things are getting serious and that they are entering the final areas. Level 9 has stone walls and metal floors similar to previous. 10 has bluish walls with a cobblestone floor, perhaps indicating leaving the man-made part of the dungeon. And it all ends in a level in which the fog of war is removed, and the player has a dramatic shadow cast in front of them as they dash around, avoiding the huge creature in the room. Over the development of Elementary, several processes and techniques were brought up which can be combined to make way for new skills to develop. Among them was the electric puzzles, where the player had to rearrange objects to form a chain of electricity to open a door. The process being the mechanics of moving the nodes, the technique being placing them in the right places to hit each other with electricity, forming the skill of generating pathways quickly and efficiently using problem solving. Over the past few months, our game has gone through a flurry of creative changes, and we are very proud of our final product. Thanks for watching.